We're kicking off today with Cody Rhodes, who finished his story at WrestleMania and became the undisputed WWE Champion, and had to overcome the might of the Bloodline to do so. On the post-WrestleMania Raw, The Rock gave Cody his proverbial flowers, while also making clear he'll be back for him, and now the final boss has fired off another warning. In a new Instagram video, The Rock congratulated Rhodes for his win, but reminded him that he'll be back in due time, and added a new threat by saying, "Congratulations to Cody Rhodes, the new Universal Champion. As I said, when the final boss returns, he's coming back for you. Make you bleed again, boy." Not only that, but The Rock seemingly confirmed a match at WrestleMania 41, as he added, "Now my sights are set on the next WrestleMania, but that's down the road. A conversation down the road." Rhodes will find out his first challenger soon enough, but he also has The Rock to deal with one day, as Cody is learning that staying champion is often harder than winning the title. The Rock isn't expected back until filming for the Smashing Machine finishes in a few months, and what do you make of his warnings to the champion? Let us know down in the comments. Another individual Cody may have to deal with soon enough is Tonga, who debuted on last week's SmackDown as part of a revamped bloodline led by Solo Sikoa. Tonga and Sikoa ejected Jimmy Uso from the group as punishment for his failures at WrestleMania, and Tonga received a huge response upon his arrival. Following SmackDown, Fightful Select reports that WWE has been pleased with the positive reception Tonga received on television, particularly given his limited exposure in the US. It was also noted that, unlike other surprise debutantes in the past, Tonga was not kept hidden backstage before his appearance on SmackDown. Now that Tonga has arrived, Jacob Fatu is expected to not be far behind, as Solo Sikoa's bloodline is ready to take SmackDown by storm, with Roman Reigns nowhere to be seen. Later this month, WWE will host its annual draft, and there's been plenty of speculation as to what role the NXT brand will play in the company's superstar shakeup. Fightful Select reports that WWE main roster talent will be eligible for a move to NXT in the draft, as the company wants to re-establish NXT as a competitive third brand. Having the final testament and Ivar on last week's show was to lay the groundwork for the idea, as main roster talent could be finding a permanent home soon enough in NXT. The upcoming weeks of NXT programming will be dedicated to the draft, culminating at Spring Breakin', but the big question is which NXT stars can be expected to be called up. NXT head Shawn Michaels reportedly remains uncertain about who will be drafted, though Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov are strong contenders for Raw and SmackDown. NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez has been teasing a call-up as of late, but the report adds that her fate remains hanging in the balance as to what show she'll be on post-draft. Tony D'Angelo's family and Baron Corbin have emerged as potential names for call-ups, which comes after reports that WWE were considering keeping the War Dogs together on SmackDown. The timing of the draft is no mere coincidence either, as this year's shakeup is scheduled the week of the NFL draft, as WWE aims to capitalize on the draft fever as in previous years. WWE is said to be open to input, particularly from media partners like CW and Netflix, but with Raw's move to streaming some time away, immediate focus remains on current strategies. As the WWE draft unfolds, the landscape of WWE's roster is set to undergo significant changes, with speculation rife and possibilities abound as to who will end up where. But who do you think would benefit most from a change of scenery in WWE? Give your top draft picks in the comments section down below. For 2 years, Big E's future in the ring has remained uncertain, but this week, the former WWE champion shared some huge good news from his personal life. On Instagram, Big E went public with the fact that he's in a relationship with Chris Yim, who is the sister of SmackDown's Michin Mia Yim. In the comments, several wrestlers were thrilled by the news, and we're wishing for the very best for the new couple. Now, Bret Hart is widely regarded as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and recently, the two-time WWE Hall of Famer made a rare appearance at an independent event. The Hitman was at Oceania Pro Wrestling's Australian Stampede event last Saturday from Ballarat, Victoria, and the fans down under were thrilled to see the excellence of execution. Hart was in Australia as part of the StarCast Down Under convention, and for the fans in the country, this was a very rare chance to see the former WWE World Champion in person. Over to AEW next, as Kenny Omega hasn't competed for the promotion since late 2023, as the EVP and former World Champion has been dealing with diverticulitis. This is a condition that practically ended Brock Lesnar's UFC run, so it's clearly very serious, and at one point, Omega had a 50-50 chance of survival due to the severe illness. While speaking on his Twitch stream, Kenny Omega provided fans with an update on his current health condition and credited Baltimore's LifeMed Clinic for their consistent support. Omega's been experiencing less inflammation, allowing him to eat and drink more comfortably, but despite this, he's not ready to return to the ring yet. Instead, he remains cautious about the effect of taking bumps or how using his core for lifts will affect him, and he intends to take the necessary time and measures to fully recover first. Omega's presence in AEW is missed greatly, but his recovery is something that can't be rushed, and we're continuing to send him the very best at this unfortunate time in his career. At Windy City Riot, Jon Moxley made history when he won the IWGP World Heavyweight title, as he's now the first man to have won the top prize in WWE, AEW, and New Japan. Of course, winning New Japan's top prize is a huge responsibility, and with this win, fans shouldn't expect to see Moxley appear for AEW anytime soon. Bodyslam.net reports that Moxley is taking time away from AEW, which explained why he hasn't wrestled for the promotion since Revolution over a month ago. Moxley's IWGP World Heavyweight title win has been in the works since earlier this year, and the report adds that he was granted time off from AEW to accommodate plans for a run. There's no bad blood between Moxley and Tony Khan, despite Jon's AEW hiatus, as Khan was at Windy City Riot and sent a message of congratulations after the title change. Moxley will be back on AEW TV one day, but when that is remains unclear. And for now, New Japan Pro Wrestling will be the home of the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. On last week's AEW Dynamite, Will Ospreay had some choice words for WWE's CCO Triple H, who he claimed only got to the top by grinding on the boss's daughter. This was seemingly in response to Triple H saying that some wrestlers prefer a lighter schedule over what WWE provides, which makes the game question their dedication to wrestling. Triple H didn't mention AEW or Ospreay in his comment on the Pat McAfee show, but now the Essex-born wrestler has taken aim at WWE yet again. On the latest episode of Hey EW, host RJ City jokingly suggested that Ospreay was missing out by not moving to Florida, adding that all the greatest wrestlers live in Orlando. RJ was alluding to WWE's Performance Center, but Ospreay fired back by saying the claim of the best being in Florida is a lie, since he's not there. AEW is taking aim at WWE despite WWE doing huge business right now, and we'll have to wait and see if anyone from WWE has a retort for these latest comments from Will Ospreay. After signing with WWE in 2011, Erick Rowan rose through the ranks of WWE and became a follower of Bray Wyatt before later becoming an eco-warrior alongside Daniel Bryan. In April 2020, Rowan was let go as part of the first wave of COVID-related budget cuts, but big things are coming for the former NXT and SmackDown Tag Team Champion. Recently, Rowan was pulled from ECPW's Coal Town Carnage event next week, and the promotion said the grappler canceled the booking due to new contractual obligations. This contract will keep Rowan from ECPW's event and other independent appearances, and many believe that this is a sign that a return to WWE is happening. A new report from PW Insider Elite notes that Rowan was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this week, which is where WWE often sends talents to undergo medical testing before they're signed. It was also said that WWE's teases for Uncle Howdy appear to be Rowan related, but that has not been confirmed, and it's also been speculated that he'll reunite with Braun Strowman. Rowan's last WWE match came on the March 9th, 2020 edition of Raw, at which he was defeated by Drew McIntyre in just 2 minutes, and he has made appearances for AEW since then. Rowan has also appeared for WWE, admittedly in tributes for Bray Wyatt and Brody Lee, but we could soon be seeing him back under much happier circumstances. We've got some sad news to report now, as veteran pro wrestler Tony Jones, who appeared on the Indies for years and had some appearances for WWE, has died at the age of 53. Jones began training in 1996 and appeared on the hit documentary Beyond the Mat with Michael Modest, and would lose to Modest in a tryout match before Heat in September 1998. In 2001, he was brought back for a loss to Raven on Jacked before taking losses to Eugene and later Snitsky on Heat in 2007, and he also appeared for WCW, XPW, and Japan's Battle Arts. All Pro Wrestling was where Jones had the bulk of his success as he became Universal Heavyweight Champion, and APW shared the sad news of his passing on social media. From Samoa Joe to John Cena, Jones worked with a lot of names who'd go on to become huge stars, and we'd like to send our condolences to his family and friends at this sad time. At WrestleMania 40, Rhea Ripley was given the daunting task of kicking off the two-night show with her title defense against Becky Lynch, and Ripley was feeling the pressure. This week, it was revealed that Ripley had a panic attack before her match with Lynch, but Jason Jordan was on hand to calm her down and talk her through it. On Twitter, Ripley had just 3 words to describe Jordan's kind act, saying, "He's the best," and it does certainly show that the former superstar is a valuable asset and a good person. Jason Jordan's days in the ring are sadly over, but he has done great things backstage as a producer, and Rhea Ripley was certainly fortunate to have him backstage in Philadelphia. On last week's Raw and SmackDown, mysterious glitches appeared on the screen which bore the messages "Hello" and "You forgot about us," leaving the fans to wonder what is going on. Well, now these cryptic messages have come to WWE's social media, as in a tweet from the official WWE account, the message "You forgot us" was shared, separated by question marks. The tweet was deleted, as was another that featured in a message in binary with the 1s and 0s translating to the message "I am all of us." These unique clues have led fans expecting the return of Uncle Howdy, as played by Bo Dallas, as it bears similarities to the White Rabbit angle that led to Bray Wyatt's return in 2022. The talk about us has left fans wondering if others are returning, possibly as part of the much-anticipated Wyatt 6 faction, and we'll have to keep tuned in to see the next cryptic message. Now, the last time fans saw MJF was at AEW World's End, where he not only lost the world title to Samoa Joe, but was betrayed by Adam Cole. Since then, MJF has been nursing the injuries he accumulated during his record-breaking AEW World title reign, but fans may be seeing him soon, according to Ricky Starks. Speaking to WrestleBinge, Starks suggested that MJF can't stay away from the spotlight for long and wants to come back, and he's sure that MJF will pop up on AEW TV again very soon. Starks then gave a personal message to MJF, saying that while the ex-champ's been away, the real blue-collar workers, like himself, have been with AEW every day and are never stopping. Starks is confident that MJF will be back soon, but an exact date remains unknown, as the former world champion certainly earned some time off following his historic and painful title run. Over to AEW Collision, as last week's show marked the AEW return of ROH Women's World Champion Athena in her first appearance on an all-elite show in several months. Not only did Athena appear on the show, but she also retained her title later in the night at Battle of the Belts 10, as she was able to put away Red Velvet. Athena is closing in on 500 days as ROH Women's World Champion, and we'll have to see who can stop the former WWE superstar who has been dominating Ring of Honor. During last week's AEW Rampage, Julia Hart was left reeling in her TBS title open house match with Layla Hirsch, and afterwards, it was reported that she'd legitimately injured her shoulder. With AEW Dynasty mere days away, the last thing anybody needs is an injured TBS champion, and there's now been an update on her condition. Despite this injury scare, Fightful Select reports that Hart is still being advertised for Dynasty, and this is not an error on AEW's marketing, and she is expected at the show. Hart is set to defend the TBS Championship against Willow Nightingale at the AEW Dynasty pay-per-view, but this injured shoulder could have a serious impact on the upcoming match. At New Japan's Windy City Riot event, Matt Riddle lost the World TV title to Zack Sabre Jr. and essentially no-sold the loss by dancing and laughing to the back after the pinfall. This led to some speculation that this marked the end of Matt's time with New Japan, but that isn't the case according to Dave Meltzer. On his show, it was explained that despite the loss, Matt still has New Japan bookings, and the decision to take the title off of him wasn't because he was done with the company. As for what Riddle does next in New Japan, that remains to be seen, and while his no-selling of the loss wasn't what many expected, he's not finished with the promotion just yet. And we're ending today with Chelsea Green, and in the days leading up to WrestleMania 40, she was ejected from a Fairmont hotel after the staff there believed that she was an escort. While this sounds like something that could be a storyline on WWE TV, this actually happened to Green, who was rightly not pleased with how she'd been treated. On Twitter, Green gave an update on the situation, saying that she'd received an apology from the GM of Fairmount and added that humility and humbleness are everything. It's good that Fairmount Hotels realized their mistake and have acted accordingly, as Green actually speaking to the manager paid off in favor of the former women's tag team champion.